Well, here we go, the Hunt and Land Man podcast, and I know I always do this. What is it, like 39,
I
Caleb?
think it's 40,
Maybe 40.
like your age.
No, I'm not 40. If it's 39, it is my age. I'm a long ways from 40. Well, we got an exciting guest today. Excited about this podcast. We've had a blast here the last day, kind of learning about the new products that our guest is putting out. Before we get going, as always, this podcast is brought to you by Southern Ag Credit. They take such good care of our clients. Literally, I'm working with them almost every day on a project. I made an offer on a piece of property in Missouri today, and if we get it accepted, guess who's going to finance us some money? Southern Ag. So I do what I encourage my clients to do. I use the best, and Southern Ag Credit is the best. There is some other good ones out there, but if you want an easy process, the best rates, and some good people, Southern Ag Credit is your company. All right, today, this episode is called Novix. All right, what is Novix, and who do we have here? Of course, we got cameraman Caleb here, and we got Mark here, I guess the CEO.
President, yeah, CEO, yep.
President of Novix. We're excited to announce the Hunt and Land Man team is teaming up with Novix. We're going to start using their stands and a lot of cool products that Mark puts out. Super excited. You hear us on the podcast talk about how we believe that we're the top of our game as far as real estate agents. And I can assure you, after hearing Mark, talking to Mark, seeing the stands and seeing over the years, these are the best tree stands in the game. And that's not me saying this because the podcast, Mark's sitting here. Go put your hands on it. You believe me too. Mark, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, Mark, tell me what is Novix? Give me a little history. How'd you become? I know all this, but our listeners don't. How'd you get involved with Novix?
Well, to make a long story short, I guess, I had a buddy of mine that has a TV show that was sponsored by him, and we have some farms in Illinois, and so I went out there and bought Novix products in the past, and Novix looks like another tree stand company that I won't mention, but we're the direct-to-consumer part of that, and still made very similar. But anyway, make a long story short, I was out in Illinois, met the ownership group, and then they called me up a few months later and basically was interested and see if I'd be interested in buying the company. And so I went ahead and looked at it and decided to purchase it because I thought I could make some improvements and some adjustments over time, and that's what we've been working hard on the last year.
Well, they are definitely some really good products. So to just kind of get y'all up to speed, they make several different lock-ons. Even since Mark has not owned it long, they've already come out with kind of some new series, the Raider series. A little better price point, but still an extremely good product. A better price point, but still probably the best stand you'll ever sit in. Something I'm excited about, they just came out with a ladder stand. Tell us a little bit about that, Mark. I know people say, ladder stand, Novix makes a super high-end lock-on mobile hunter. Okay, what makes y'all want to get in the ladder stand game?
Well, we want to round out our products, right? We don't want someone who maybe loves our lock-on and is a mobile hunter and stuff like that, but they have to go buy somebody else's ladder stand for their kids or something like that, or themselves, because not every spot is always designed for a lock-on. So it was my goal when I bought the company the very first day. That's what I said. I said I want to make a ladder stand that can be up and in a tree in less than 15 minutes, that requires no tools to assemble. And so that's what I tasked my team with a year ago. And we did it.
And it is a super top-end ladder stand. And, as you get older, like my wife and all my family hunts, and if they're going to bow hunt, if it's a spot you hunt all the time and the cover works out, why not have a safer alternative maybe and with a ladder stand and something easier,
Yeah, I mean, we call it taking back your weekend, right? We're all busy. We have family. We have all kinds of things to do. And nobody really wants to spend an hour and a half to 2 hours putting together a ladder stand, and then it's fully assembled, and to get it in the back of your truck and take it to the farm, like get in the back of a UTV, it's very difficult. And it's always been a frustration for me because I've obviously hunted out of ladder stands at times, other brands and stuff before I owned the company. And I just thought that was really the old way of thinking. So we wanted to make it lighter. So we're about half the weight of a normal ladder stand. So we're all aluminum, and to our knowledge, we cannot find another aluminum ladder stand on the market. So we're all aluminum. We're about half the weight, and we require 0 tools. You literally have to hand tighten 4 bolts, that put the brackets on, and that's it. So you could take the box when you get it, drive it to the farm with nothing in your truck but that box,
Right.
and put it in the tree.
And we've all put together lock-ons and ladder stands. Ladder stands are the worst.
Yeah.
Because no matter what you do, you're going to end up with some extra bolts. You're going to cross-thread something. You're going to probably say some bad words.
Yeah.
And then all that being said, when you get to the woods, you're relying on your aggravatingness that put together the stands, keeping you and your family safe. So, I mean, if nothing else, it's a safety thing.
Yeah, and I mean, not putting together stands and stuff. You're tightening bolts, and the metal smashing together to get them tight because the tolerances are not good, right? Like there's all kinds of things that are happening with that tree stand that you're chipping the paint because you are tightening that 1-inch tubing too tight.
Or you're like me and putting an impact on it, and too high.
Exactly. Then you're backing it off, right? I mean, those are things that we wanted to take out of the equation, right, for the customer, because we care about the customer saving time. And so that's why our hang-ons come assembled too. Literally, our Echoes require one bolt. The offset bracket is 7/16" bolt. That's it. Everything else it takes you 30 seconds to put together.
So the the Hunt Ready system that they sell, literally, we did it last time. Looking at it right here in front of me, Caleb, grab that smaller stand over there and bring it over here so the guys watching it on YouTube can subscribe, and then they can look at this stand right here. But super top end quality product, and literally you could go to your local hunting store, or Duke's Consumer Direct, FedEx could deliver it, and you could go to your you could go and get the box on your way out with your camouflage on, get there, put it on your back, and go hunting. I mean, that's it.
That's it. You don't. There's no assembly to our Hunt Ready systems whatsoever. You literally pull it out of the box, and you can put the backpack straps on it and walk it to the tree. If you don't want the backpack straps, just grab the tree stand and walk it to the tree. There's nothing else on the market really that is quite like that, and that's our Hunt Ready package.
Super top end. Let me just tell you a little bit of the features. It's a double strap system, so super safe, easy to put up. It's got a leveling seat and a platform. I don't know what y'all call it, but the platform also can level.
Platform, yep.
And so if you get those trees that's in the perfect spot that lean a little bit, if you get that, you can get your seat ready so you can be comfortable, or you can get the platform where it's safe, where you can stand and make a good ethical shot. The way their brackets are also, you don't have to have all 4 points of contact to get a good safe. So like where we hunt in the Midwest in Kansas, or let's say you're hunting on a tree, like let's say my house. I showed you those big live oak trees a while ago. Maybe you having to hunt on one of those limbs, and maybe you only have 2 points of contact that you can get, but you can get in there and get safe. And it sucks to not be in the right tree because you got the wrong stand. I said that right. I thought about it and I said it right. You got the right stand, you can be in the right tree also. And so that's huge. And I think, to your point, with the ladder stand, you can do that also. Not every tree is built for steps and lock-ons. You can do that with the ladder stand too. One thing about any company that I like is the people behind it and the intention behind it. I've really enjoyed meeting Mark and hanging out with Mark. And he's of the opinion, like I am with real estate, hey, let's not compete on trying to be the cheapest, or we're trying to be the best at a fair price. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, value. We talk about value when we're pricing something or we're building something. Like, how much value can we create? And just like our ladder stand, like, we think about the time. Like, how much time are you taking away from your family? What's the value in that? What's the price point? What's this? What's that? Because that's what we want to do. We want the person to buy it and say, wow, that created a lot of value to me. If we don't do that, then we didn't do a very good job.
Something, I know he has these arguments with people all the time. You'll go and you'll spend. I have plenty of people every year or every other year. They'll spend $2,000 or $1,500 on their bow setup, and they'll sit in a $69 lock on that squeaks, and like, you made sure everything was perfect where you could hit that dot at 40 yards, but you didn't make everything perfect where when you stood up in that stand it didn't go and that doe blows at you and runs off and you missed opportunity. It doesn't matter if you can hit the dot at 40 yards if the deer ain't standing there. So that's one thing I know Mark and them are big on is being silent. Something that we didn't touch on, I just looked over there and thought, so something that's really cool with the Hunt Ready system, they have the quiver, just like a quiver for your bow, they have the stick quiver. So your sticks go onto your stand and you pack them all in. You can even put your backpack on there and it all works. So it'd be super mobile. Now, Caleb and I talked about this last year a little bit on the podcast. We tried the saddle setups, and I think there's a scenario for it, and to each their own with that. Something that I complained to Caleb about, I'm still not there. I didn't feel natural with it. I didn't feel like I could make every shot I could make standing on the ground or in a lock on. I'm super excited we're partnering with Novix, other than the fact of I can hunt out of a lock. I can be just that mobile but hunt out of a lock on.
Yeah. So that's our goal, right? Like I tell everybody, you haven't really tried our tree stand. If you've tried a saddle but you haven't tried a Novix Hilo with our sticks, I mean, we've tested it multiple times with people who have hunted out of saddles, haven't hunted out of saddles. We've done side-by-side comparisons. It's nowhere quicker. Matter of fact, 90% of the time we're actually faster getting up the tree with our Hilo than they are with the saddle, because when you get up the tree, you got to kind of mess around with the saddle. You got to get comfortable. You got to get this in there. We're sitting in our stand, and they're still, messing around. So my thing is, I hear guys say, like, the time, like, well, I can get in the saddle so much quicker. But I'm like, well, have you ever tried our product? Well, no. So I encourage people to try it, because that's why we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. 30-day money-back guarantee. If you don't like our product, you send it back to us. We'll send your money back, no questions asked. Literally, no questions asked.
And that's just if you don't like it.
Yeah, that's if you don't like it. There's
enjoy the product.
You don't have to have a reason.
Right.
No explanation.
Nope. You buy the product, you don't like it, send it back, we'll give you your money back.
Something to be said, I call myself a scent Nazi. I thought about, when we're hunting around here, a lot of our hunting is done like we have whatever our lightest pants are and our lightest element shirt, that's what we're hunting in most of the time. I mean, it's very, very seldom we're hunting before December in a jacket. You may have two shirts on, maybe a hoodie or something. But anyway, so when we go to the tree, sweat is a real issue, especially in October. Now we've got this velvet season in September.
There's no avoiding it.
Yeah, so I literally, a lot of times I walk to the stand without my shirt on.
Yeah.
I mean, just because I'm like, how can I be, as scent free as possible, get some wind going. So let's say it takes you a little less time. I know in my saddle, I sweat it. And some people may not, but I sweat it getting in the tree and things like that. So if I can get in that lock on a little bit easier without sweating, there's definitely something to be said. And to each their own. Everybody try it. Even Mark said, hey, try it. And if it works for you, great. If it doesn't, great. My deal is I don't have to reinvent the wheel and learn how to shoot out of my platform on my saddle.
And you guys, it's a big climbing market right to the south, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's historically speaking a big climbing market. And we get a lot of people that want us to make a climber. There's a couple reasons why we won't. One, the climbing market's actually a dying market. So down here, you might say, like, people like, oh, that's insane. It's not. But if you look at the numbers of the amount of climbers that are being sold, it's consistently reducing and reducing and reducing and reducing. It's going down. Right. So I'm not going to jump into a market.
It's down.
Yeah. If nobody's selling vacant land, you don't want to be the vacant land. So,
Yeah.
So we got to go where the market goes. And two, a lot of times I tell people, like, you just haven't tried some of the new stuff that's out there, because if you
it has changed.
If you got used to our Hilo and our sticks, trust me, within 5-6 times you're going to be just as efficient and as fast as any climber on the market, probably more. And you're quieter. It's literally going to be a lot quicker and quieter to get up the tree. And again, it's a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you try it, you say, hey, I don't know, I'm a climber guy. Look, buy the product. If you take it out a couple times and you don't like it, put it in the box and send it back to me.
Well, you can try it for a month. I mean, you literally can hunt out of it for a month. But, to your point, I grew up hunting in a climber, right? And all of my friends, we all grew up hunting in climbers, down here in the dirty South. That's just kind of the history like you were talking about. But it was always an older one. Like, we didn't get new ones, And so, I to your point, I see the market, like you're talking about, dying, because everyone's just hanging on to that old climber. When it goes away, people are trying saddles, people are trying lock-ons, and when they try it, they see that, okay, this is actually a good option.
Absolutely.
I'm excited about the products. I told y'all last night I'm kind of a junkie. And when I have good gear, it gets me more excited about hunting. I don't know. I just get more excited. So I'm excited to use them. They make a great product. You really ought to try them. We're going to be using them this fall. If you're local and you want to come grab one of mine one day this fall, hey, come grab it. We'll definitely show you a great product. It's kind of like so many of my friends, they buy a pair of cheap binoculars every 3 or 4 years. Oh, binoculars junk. I don't know how I use them. Look, I've had a pair of Zeiss binoculars since I was 15 years old. I've used other ones and stuff, but I've still got that pair of Zeiss since I was 15 years old. This is the same thing. When you grab one of these Novix stands, it's like, okay, this is different. This is not, I didn't get this one on sale at Walmart because nobody wanted to buy it. Like this is different. And I feel like it's one of those things, if you want to be stealthy, if you want to get in there and you want to have your mobile set up, this is something that I think that you need to have in your bag of tricks. Now, can we talk about what y'all are releasing tomorrow?
Yes, we can.
Well, it won't come out till after you release it.
Till after then, anyways. So.
Yeah, we're good. Okay, so yeah, we can talk about that. It goes back to what we were talking about earlier today. It's a God family country, right?
Right.
So, being an American brand, we try to make everything we possibly can in America for the Novix brand. It'll always stay that way. The Novix brand, first and foremost, can we make it here? How much can we make here? Is there anything we got to get at all from anywhere else? And 98% of that tree stand's made here, other than some material that we got to get from overseas on the soft goods. But going back to that, I believe firmly in supporting our country and the men and women, obviously, from our country. So for Memorial Day, we're launching our Hero Series. So we got a desert tan and OD green colors, and we're giving a percentage of those proceeds back to a foundation that supports people who have died in the military, that have lost their lives and given the ultimate sacrifice. And I think that's just so important that one, we put our money where our mouth is, and two, that we really appreciate the people who died so we can sit here and have this podcast, right?
Right.
Amen.
And expand a little bit on the story of how the idea came about. So it was actually, you listen also to the men and women because it was actually a veteran's idea.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool story. So, very cool story. A guy came up to me to show who I knew, and he's like, "Hey, Mark, I got an idea. Are you guys doing anything for Memorial Day?" And I said, I don't. We want to. We've talked about all kinds of different options, but I don't know really what to do. But we're going to do something that's special. He's like, "I got an idea. Could you maybe do two different colored stands?" And I said, "We've thought about that." I was like, a little bit. He's like, "I think being from the military, I'd really appreciate that. That would mean so much to us." And I said, I looked right at him. I said, "I'll do it." He's like, "Ha ha ha," and I'm like, no,
Mexican.
Yeah. I literally made a phone call within 2 minutes. Told my team this is what we want to do. They all loved it because we all have the same belief system, and you can go really far when you do. He came back about a half hour later and he said, "Hey, I even thought of the name. Why don't you call it the Hero Series?" So funny part is we went through that whole process, call it the Hero Series, stuff like that. And come to find out, the guy that actually said something to me, which ended up being the coolest part of this whole story, which I didn't know and he never told me, was in the battalion that lost some of the most lives in the Iraq War.
Wow.
He lost over 20 people that he served with in his battalion, which is big losses for Iraq because we didn't lose a ton of soldiers right overall in that war compared to some other wars. But there was over 20 people that died in his battalion that were his friends that he was there with. And, it was just super, super special that he said that would be such an honor to them to be able to, that he came up with, that he thought of that idea, said it to me, and then it happened. He felt like he was honoring those people that he died with. So we have a video coming out next week with Mike Lake talking about that. And it's just a really, it was just weird how, something, it just worked, right? The whole, right. And I didn't know it at the time how special it really was. But, if you can't, I know it's about hot dogs and hamburgers and getting together on Memorial Day, but everybody should stop and appreciate those people 100%. That died for our country.
Yeah.
And thank y'all, Novix, for doing that. That means a lot. We don't do enough. I try to always say to soldiers I see, "Hey, thank you for your service," and policemen too. We don't do enough, and we don't appreciate. Like you said, we're all sitting here. We've been talking business all day, how we can improve our business, how we can have better lives for our families and things like that. And there's people who thousands of people who died just so we can even have the possibility to do that. And no matter where your political is, if you're watching Fox or MSNBC or Newsweek, whatever, we've got it better than everybody else. And we don't need to forget that. And no matter what, we've got it better than everybody else. And, just thankful that we're able to do that. Which brings me to my next point. So Mark is like me. He puts his money where his mouth is when it comes to buying land. We were talking about earlier, what land he buys and why and things like that. And we've been talking land. I showed him some of my tracks. I brought him to the house. I showed him where Caleb killed a big deer. The only thing about the 284, we can't ever, I don't know if I can ever sell it because you'll never be able to ride by that ridge right there and not say that. That's where Caleb killed a big deer.
You turned a killer loose on it.
You need to go do, we do turkey tombstones. You need to go do your deer tombstone down there, like this shell casing or something. Yeah. But, and so I didn't tell you about that story. So when Caleb called me and said, I got him. Actually, so when we shoot, we send out to our group message an Indian. Everybody has their own Indian. You send an Indian, like I'm an ultimate warrior, kind of deal. Mm-hmm. And so he sends out an Indian. So me and Asa, which you hadn't met, but my little girl, Asa, we went and helped track him. Asa took pictures with Caleb's deer. It's just cool because it's all right there by the house,
Absolutely.
But anyway, so Mark buys and sells some ground. He lives in Ohio. He has some stuff in Illinois, and he's been blessed and hunted some really, really good places. And so I told him earlier, I don't know if he thought about it anymore. So we always ask the question with guests, all right, if you win $100 million more net, so let's say the lottery's $250 and you got to pay Uncle Biden and they settle out and you get $100 million in your account tomorrow, where are we buying land and why?
I have thought about that once you brought it up. I guess I'll give a two-part answer to that. So if I'm doing it for deer and deer alone, Kansas. More than likely. So Kansas would be my first choice for deer, strictly deer. But I've always had a strong emotional attachment to where I live. Mm-hmm. And so I'd have to say that if I had to choose between deer or property in Ohio that my family and my friends could enjoy on a daily basis, I would probably buy that because I love to take care of my family and friends. So if I had to choose the only one, it would be locally to me in Ohio.
That's commonly the answer everybody talks about, around their house. I'm the same way. I'd have a couple big places up in the Midwest, maybe an elk place, but most of it will be right here because you can go touch it every day.
Yeah, and that's what, and it doesn't matter if you own 5 acres, 20 acres, or 10,000. There's something special about owning a piece of dirt and making it, and being able to enjoy that with your family. It might only be a few acres. It doesn't matter, though. If your kids can go out there and play ball, and you can go out there and play ball with them, and you got a little pool, that's what life's about.
That's it. And Mark said it when we were riding around my place earlier. It's something special about killing one on a place you own. And for me, this year, like Bentley killed his big buck. Maybe we need to get Bentley on the podcast talking about his big buck. You think we could get a word out of him?
That'd be tough.
He's kind of quiet.
Yeah.
We have to fill him up with some sugar or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, give him one of them $8 teas. Anyway, it was special for me. I was telling Mark earlier when Bentley killed that buck, I probably got more excited than everybody because that was not something that happened that day. That was something that happened from the first time that I bought a piece of land and flipped into that property to have for my family. And so it like you said, owning land is just special. And like I was thinking about when we were riding around, anytime that I have like people, like Mark come in, we're getting to know each other, whatever. Like I guess like people that have car collections, go show them their car collection. I go show people my land. I'm like, this is my place. This is what I'm doing. I guess it's like your my land collection. What you do. Well, come in 10 years and we'll have a longer ride hopefully. Well, tell us, Mark, what you got some hunts coming up this fall?
Yeah, I'll be in New Mexico hunting elk in September at the Gila, which is pretty nice. Have a hog hunt actually out in California, which I didn't even know there was hogs in California until recently. Mm-hmm. But with a group of guys actually in June, which is kind of cool. And then the Midwest. I travel out through the Midwest. I am a single father, so my time's limited sometimes between business and spending time with my daughter. Sometimes I choose that over anything, which is important to me. And I'm her main caretaker, so that matters. But I'll go through Illinois to Illinois for sure, and I may make it out to Iowa. I have 4 points, so I can draw an Iowa tag if I want to this year. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to do that or not. But
I'm on the same points as you. I got 4, and I put in for zone 9, so hopefully I can get drawn too. Well, we're getting down to the end of this thing. Tell me, you've got some really good products with Novix now. We know they're American made. We know that they're a great product. People need to try them. 30-day money back guarantee. A lot of cool things. What's next? Where do we have? I know because I asked you over the past day, but what can you tell us people should be excited about?
I would really like to just tell people that I've had a year to develop some new products and do some things, and I had to choose what we could have the capabilities of doing within a 12-month time frame. So, but moving forward, we have tons of different products that are coming out over the next 24 months, and I would say 24 months because we can't get them all done in 1 year. But it's definitely going to be exciting to see, and I think we're going to focus on not reinventing the wheel, but we're going to take products that people currently use and try to make them better. I mean, there's a lot of people that you can buy, that somebody can buy land off of, but they're not going to get the same result and the same experience unless they buy from Slade.
That's right.
So the same thing with us is you can buy a tree stand from anybody, but you're not going to get the tree stand that you're going to get from us. We're going to do something different. It's going to have value to it, and that's going to go across every product line that we bring. So we're going to bring some different product lines in, but for the most part, we're going to stay very whitetail oriented. The brand is going to stay very whitetail oriented.
Well, he showed us some kind of prototypes and kind of told us what they're doing. That we can't talk as much about it today, but that's something I'm excited about. As cool as some of the products they have are now, he's looking at how he can make them better. Packing quieter or packing better or easier to use in the tree. All those sort of things, safer, lighter, you name it. So making you a better hunter. Something I totally agree with Mark on about their stands, talking about making them lighter, it seems like in today's world, I've got 2 ounces down here and there, and I'm sitting there, it's like, it would be way lighter to just stick a nail up there and stand on it, but we got to be comfortable, we got to be safe, and I think Novix has a really good balance, a good light, high quality stand while maintaining safe and a good quality product. I think that's defines it well, would you say?
Yeah, I say that all the time to people that we can take lightness to an extreme and it becomes unsafe. And I feel like that bar is getting pushed because the consumer is saying lighter, lighter, lighter. No offense, but I mean, I got guys telling me like, if that was 8 ounces less, then I would probably buy your stand. Well, why do you have a 12 ounce, or a 16 ounce Mountain Dew in your backpack then? Okay, so like if we're talking about that, like skip breakfast. To me, I still have to make a safe product, and we're as light as what we will go because that's as safe as I feel like I would make it, and we're overkill. Everything we do is overkill, so it's extremely safe, and we're not going to go any farther because I'm not going to give up any kind of safety.
That's good. Safety, quality. Caleb, just real quick, we pulled the stands out, checked them all out. Of course, we'd seen them on the reels and the social medias and stuff like that. What was your initial thought? Mine was better than expected.
Mine was definitely better than expected. And actually, while y'all were looking at property, I went and broke this bad boy in. I went and put it on the tree, moved it around a little bit. I experimented with it, and I loved it. Like I said, I didn't grow up hunting in lock-ons. And so this is all a new game to me, and I'm excited about it. I can see, now that I've had a year hunting in a saddle, I can see where this is, just as easy to go up. And then, of course, once you're up, it's way more comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can stand, you can shoot, you can stand more flat-footed. And I brought that up yesterday. You practice on the ground, right? So we're practicing on the ground or in a tree stand. A lot of times guys are practicing in it, but your feet are stable. You're not torquing your body. Mm-hmm. You're not leaning back or leaning over your shoulders. And your anchor point, just naturally, you're changing your anchor point from some of these other setups. And no offense, but I really like to stand. I like to move around. I like to sit down. You know, you get uncomfortable, you know. Too.
Right. And like you said, you don't know how that, you know, if you have a back brace or if it's here or where you're putting your weight, because you don't know how that's going to affect you, especially in the heat of the moment. If there's something that I've learned about bow hunting over the past 20-something years is if you can eliminate things that you can do wrong, you become more successful. And everybody does the big things right. They try to be scent free or, all these. But if you can eliminate, okay, let's talk about a stand squeak, making a good shot. Eliminate things that can go wrong. When you stack those up, that's what makes the difference between successful and not a lot of times. Those little things you stack up, that's a lot of life. But and I think that, having a good quality stand and, I'd say this, if you are going to hunt out of a saddle, make sure you practice in it, we all make sure we hit the dot at 40 and we got our $2,000 bow set up and we can argue about which broadhead and arrow and sight's the best. Well, learn how to shoot at what are you hunting out of. Absolutely. And if you're already standing on a good platform on the ground, stand on a good platform and get you a Novix stand. Well, we're going to get out of here. We maybe going to do some hog hunting this afternoon. We shall see. And we're going to introduce Mark. He's had crawfish before, but he said they tasted like mud. So we're going to change.
Yeah, he had crawfish from Alabama.
I mean,
they don't know how to make crawfish.
Look, they play football pretty good. I mean, go Tigers. I mean, they didn't play real good last year. But anyway, we're going to eat some good crawfish this afternoon and have a good time. Mark, thank you for being on here. Cameraman Caleb, anything? Rackbuck Realtor Caleb, anything? You had your was it last night he had his big time TBW? Was that last night or is that next episode? Tonight?
Yes, tonight.
Oh, tonight.
Tonight's my debut.
Tonight is the night.
Coming out of the bullpen.
You're coming out of the bullpen.
Yeah.
Do you have a Sharpie so you can sign babies and
that's kind of old news. I don't really do that anymore. Now I charge and people don't like it as much because I have to charge for that.
Have you and Claire talked about signing autograph? Like, what's your rules? Like, if a woman wants you to sign like an inappropriate part of her body, have y'all talked about that at all? Like, how you're going to handle that? Because I mean, it's good in marriage. You're first. You need to talk about that.
I wear the pants, so.
Okay, yeah. Claire, make sure you cut this part out, Hunter. Where Claire hears that, because we refer to Caleb when he's not on camera. We refer to him as Claire's husband. Well, y'all have a blessed day. We're going to get out of here. We're going to talk about some land, talk about some tree stands, and y'all have a blessed day.